So welcome back to Brussels. Welcome to our embassy. This is our yurt. This is a special place for us in Brussels where we feel more home. And I'm delighted that we have this chance to see each other. We did record one one podcast a year ago, and it was a great initiative that you put forward to have a conversation. So how was your year? What was the highlights of the year, and what is the mood generally in Astana?
Well, first, thank you for inviting me here. I saw this yurta only on the videos so far because I know that you're organizing several events and discussions. I think it's a fantastic idea that you had. It looks beautiful, also everything that you're offering here, so that's great. It's always good to be back in Brussels, also to catch up a little bit, but I feel like being in Kazakhstan at this particular moment. Astana has not changed much. It's still wonderful and friendly as it has always been towards me, towards my European colleagues. I think my second year was really great. I mean, I just want to stay there even longer. That's how it is. From the personal point of view, but also from the professional point of view, because I think this year, also since you moved here, I asked my colleagues to give me a little bit of an overview what we have done and the project that we have signed in the areas of transport, in the areas of civil society, gender, critical raw materials. There were so many. I mean, if you want to highlight, it's difficult to even name one, but of course the visit of President Costa in December was one thing that really, where we commemorated these 10 years of EPCA, Enhanced Partnership Cooperation Agreement, was probably something major because having a visit of the VIP, and now I'm here in Brussels for the reason of your president visiting here,
Yes.
which is of course the second big highlight here. So that's from my side.
Well, thank you, Aleška. Indeed, I'm extremely pleased to hear that you enjoy your time in Astana. I will happily say that I enjoy my time in Brussels. This is a unique opportunity to be in the center of European policy making, decision making, and despite the worst forecasts for weather, I guess the climate change affects Brussels very much, and it hasn't been as rainy as I was fearing it will be. But in the meetings, in all the interactions with European officials, with Belgian officials, we feel nothing but warmth and desire to do more together to strengthen our ties. As we all know already, Kazakhstan is European Union's largest trading partner in Central Asia. The EU is Kazakhstan's largest trading and investment partner. The investment that the European companies have invested in Kazakhstan have now exceeded $210 billion. There are 4,000 companies with European participation in Kazakhstan. We have seen more of them coming over the past year, not just from Belgium and Luxembourg, but the countries I also represent Kazakhstan in, but also from other countries. So we certainly look forward to this upcoming visit of our president and his meetings with President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and his meetings with business leaders at the round table, which all in all should result in signing of numerous agreements, including the so-called horizontal aviation agreement. Finally, yes, but it will naturally create the beneficial conditions for the flights between our country and the European Union. We are also on the verge of completing our negotiations of visa facilitation agreement and readmission agreement, which should provide, in fact, those passengers that all those airlines will need to be flying between Kazakhstan and the European Union. We are expecting the signing of more than 30 commercial agreements during the visit, with the very big ticket. I'm not going to divulge at this stage, but it's going to be a very significant amount of money in terms of purchases, in terms of investments, in terms of soft loans from EIB and EBRD. So all in all, I think the relationship is in a fantastic shape. From what I can see, the dialogue between our leaders, the dialogue between ourselves is as friendly as one can possibly imagine. It's open, constructive, mutually supportive, and I think this is the way our relationship will be developing in the future.
That's what I call strategic partnership. In fact, yeah, but it's even more than that. It's even strategic friendship. Maybe we could rename it if there was such a
Yes,
thing.
I like this strategic friendship, and I like the phrase you. I think it was you who used it first. Unmistakably human.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it because it's
Yeah.
it really is emblematic of the attitudes between the attitude that the Kazakhs have to what the European Union and vice versa.
I think there's one thing, you mentioned the trading numbers, etc. Indeed, we are the largest trading partner. What I do think we should all work, and that's why I'm very happy about the business meetings, is diversification. Because majority of our investment is still very much in the oil and gas, which is fine. We also still need this, as does Kazakhstan, so that's perfectly well. But I think we have potential for developing also other areas, and that's where I like that there will be signatures of several agreements now. The investment numbers have to increase further, and the trading numbers. So that's why we are working also very much together with your authorities in Astana on further improving the business climate. You know that we have business platforms with your Prime Minister. Which we very much appreciate, because those are the places where we can really openly discuss. And this open discussion and dialogue is something that I'm not so sure that with every country is like that. I mean, I haven't been serving in so many countries bilaterally, but I find it quite exceptional. On the human rights, we have dialogue. On business, we have dialogue, regular exchange, not only monologues, but as I always said before already, we have actually a dialogue. So I appreciate that very much from the Kazakh side. That's what I can see but that's where I see strategic friendship developing further.
Yeah. Yes, and if I may, I add that indeed during the visit we expect that some of the agreements to be signed, they will have to deal with, of course, transport and logistics. It's something. This is an area which is at the forefront of our discussions, and the development of the so-called middle corridor is, of course, of great significance. And thankfully, with Kazakhstan investing its own money, with the EU supporting the development of the middle corridor through EIB, through EBRD, and through its own commission grants for several projects in Kazakhstan, as well as through the investments from other partners such as China, we see that this is a corridor that is really coming alive and becoming a major artery connecting Asia and Europe. In fact, if we look at numbers, in 2021, 850,000 tons were transported along the middle corridor through the Kazakh ports on the Caspian Sea of Aktau and Kuryk. Last year it was 4.5 million tons. So you can see the dynamic growth, but we're not even preparing to stop there. We expect that this number will reach about 10 million tons by 2030. And this is something we work jointly on. I also am very happy to see that there is a growing interest from companies such as SAS from Luxembourg, which uses a grant from the EU to provide communications services, to provide satellite internet to remote villages in Kazakhstan and in Central Asia. But they are not stopping at that. They are expanding their business in cooperation with the Kazakh state space company, Kazakhstan Garыsh Sapары. And I think this is also emblematic of the ongoing diversification of our relations that we see. I also would gladly echo your comments about the importance of dialogue and numerous dialogues that we have, and they are indeed very important platforms, and I'm very pleased that you see value in those. We see value in such platforms as well, including in the platform on business climate that our Prime Minister co-chairs with or chairs with the participation of all European ambassadors in Kazakhstan. But what do you think we could do differently, or what do you think we can do more?
I mean, first you mentioned, and I didn't echo what you said on the whole visa facilitation agreement. I'm also very happy that negotiations have come to an end. Of course, there's still some processes that have to go on because that's how the European Union works. It's never very simple and easy. It is an important topic, but indeed it will improve connectivity. So I also trust and hope that when we meet next year, if we meet next year for the same thing, that we can really say that this has been done. The second thing that I see that we could work more, because on connectivity, when we talk connectivity, it's exactly what you're talking. Transport, logistics is somehow on the top of our minds. But I think connectivity, people to people part, in addition to visa education, that's where I think we could do more. I know that there are many Kazakhs who are very interested in studying abroad. I see that often they choose universities that are, English-speaking US, UK universities, but also in Europe there are several that are quite interesting. So I would like to see if there is a bigger number. Of course, Erasmus is there, but also generally to cooperate with universities. But also what I think is that there are too few European students in Kazakh universities. And that's where I recently just wanted to meet with all the students that are in Astana, and I realized that there are not that many European ones, and I think we should maybe have some programs that are that can be improved. I know that Minister Nurbek was here, but also he's probably traveling around Europe, or generally, we have to bring Kazakhstan closer to Europe in that. I think in the education field we can do more. There is a lot done, and of course, I mean, Kazakhstan is a leader in artificial intelligence in the region, and maybe even beyond the region. One thing that really impressed me was when I went to the JITEX in Almaty, when I saw all these AI companies and the minister, etc. So it was quite impressive, and I was also given a private tour in the Alem AI in the sphere, in all the floors, which I heard was not everybody. Anyway, so it's an impressive thing. I think that where perhaps we can look into working even better together is also what your president is always talking about: ethical AI, about how can we make somehow regulation in such a way that we will avoid the risks that come with the AI, because with this very fast development, of course, there are also several risks. We in EU are very strong on regulation. And we can look into how we can further those are the things that I see as a great potential for the future. In addition to what we are doing, as you rightly said, digitalization, strengthening satellite connectivity, transport, logistics, regional cooperation with all the countries of Central Asia, further that by all means. Critical raw materials, different stories.
Yes. I would like to pick up on education and science and research, in fact. And you mentioned Minister Nurbek's visit. I too would like to mention his most recent visit just 3 weeks ago, but he's also coming with the president for this visit, for meetings with some other European officials, with other rectors of the universities. Indeed, we have seen a very dynamic growth of Kazakh researchers' participation in Horizon Europe in the past few years. And just yesterday, I guess, the statistics, just a few days ago, statistics came out highlighting how the number of grants issued to Kazakh students, Kazakh researchers have quadrupled over the past few years. And I think this is an area where we would like to see more progress. In fact, we are now reaching out to the European Commission with an idea that Kazakhstan can, after holding negotiations, of course, with the EU, to join as an associated member the Horizon Europe, because I think this is going to be very, very beneficial for both sides.
I'm aware of this ambition. I'm not in the lead of it, but I can see the motivation and potential there. I think it's not only about the research. I think that they're looking at other criteria as well, but happy to continue working on this because I see a great potential there. Also, another thing that I think we are good at, European companies, I think, are investing and European countries are also opening more and more universities or cooperating with Kazakh universities on vocational trainings, on trainings of Kazakhs, because I think that there is one added value that, I mean, I don't want to comment too much about other partners that Kazakhstan has, but I think that what Europe is very strong on is when we go there, we leave something behind, something good behind, meaning educated people, those who are actually dealing with that environment friendly. So we consider this as our comparative advantage. You have heard President of Commission saying this several times, I imagine, and I would emphasize that part as well. So I'd like that to continue.
Yes, in terms of student exchanges and university partnerships, of course, we've seen this now famous map of Kazakhstan with universities in every single regional center.
Every month I get a new map.
Yes,
with
you
more
get a new map
universities.
because there are more universities are coming and opening, but there are universities from European countries,
Indeed.
from France, from Germany, from Poland, from Italy. Yes, and I think more to come. So because yes, now Kazakhstan is really becoming an educational and science and research hub in the heart of Eurasia, thanks to these efforts. And I also have seen the numbers. Now there are about 35,000 foreign students in Kazakhstan. That number was perhaps 5,000 just 5 years ago, and it will be 150,000 if things proceed at that stage in another 5 years. Hopefully more European students. And reciprocally, we see more and more students from Kazakhstan going to European countries, both under the Bolashak Presidential Scholarship and at their own expense. So I'm certain that this will continue, and I can only add that the European Union already has a very strong soft power pool, soft power attraction among the Kazakh population, among our students, among our business people. So naturally these upcoming agreements that we hopefully can sign before too long on visa facilitation and on readmission, because they go in package, will provide this opportunity for our people to travel easier to the European Union. Well, thank you so much. I guess we have done quite a few things over the past year. We wanted to do something differently a year ago, if I recall correctly. Well, one thing I've done here as an ambassador differently is to stop this yurt. And I am so privileged that we have it here. We have a lot of guests here. Yes, we do host this Shanyraq Dialogues. Shanyraq is, of course, the top of the yurt, and it's very sacred for a Kazakh, and we are so happy that our Shanyraq is here in Brussels and is so high here.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, what I enjoy in Kazakhstan is traveling around the country as well, because it's one thing to do Astana, which of course I enjoy, it's my home now. But traveling around is something that really enriches, and really you get to know the hospitality of people. We do, as you know, because you helped us started organizing in your previous capacity the trips of ambassadors. We continue that also now when you are here. We are going to Uralsk just after I return back home, and then hope to other regions. But right now, I think on my list I have 14 regions, so I still have 3 that I have not seen.
That you in good shape.
Indeed. So I look forward to. I mean, this is something that is just absolutely fantastic. Always to me visiting the country.
Well, thank you so much, dear Aleška, dear friend. We continue to work together to strengthen our strategic friendship.
Strategic friendship in the future. Very nice. And I enjoy your yurt. I think it's
Thank you.